Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May 23rd, 2023. Hope this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to do a little bit of bitching and moaning to start this off, and I realized, no, Isaiah. It's good. Just because you have a couple of bad moments in a day, that doesn't take away from it. Shouldn't take away from the whole thing. The pie's still good. You know what I mean? So we're good. We're grooving, actually. Um, Food corner for today. I well, the other day, I guess you say, for the other day, previous Monday, whatever. And actually, I missed you guys. I know. What do you mean? You take Monday off anyway? No, I don't actually. Usually, I do a Patreon episode. It's for the real ones, the loyal ones, the newsies. No, but I actually did the episode early so I could take a day off. Granted, I worked like a normal person, real world stuff. But that being said, I missed this. Now that I've gotten on this daily schedule, I'm just so give me the microphone, let me go. Felt weird not doing it. But that being said, I went to some family friends, did a dinner, and it went really well. It was a good time. It's actually really fun watching just actually gun YouTubes. Um, look, I'm just living in this world, all right? You guys have all known, I might not have a gun on. I might not have that motherfucking thing on me. But, I have gone shooting before. Even though I wish we lived in a world that didn't have guns. It is interesting to learn more about them. And it reminds me, too, that, I have so much to learn about, guns, weapon systems, whatever. So yeah, it was kind of neat watching that. Also, I watched some I Did a Thing, and I think he's great. I would definitely check him out if you are into fun content and you want to learn something along the way. I said fun content. He's a super unhinged individual, and he's awesome and Australian. So I don't know. I'll let you figure it out from there. That being said, the entrees, the food, the reason for the seasons when it comes to dinner. Um, we had a lot of I call it picnic food. Essentially brats. I think there was Mets, and then there was these really nice beans. It was beans with bacon. It was this nice little sauce. It was a super good side for everything. You would literally put it on whatever or with whatever, and it was just gonna taste good. We also had mac and cheese. There was also brisket. What else was there? Potato salad. I think that was the last other side. So I was happy. I was good. It was a nice time. It's always good to see people you love and who love you. You know what I mean? Obviously the food is great. That's kind of the glue. And I love, watching, just content and hanging out. But really it is the hanging out and I don't want to say fellowship. That sounds a little bit too hoity-toity, but it's nice. I always appreciate that. That's always my favorite thing. So yeah, let's see. That's all the personal stuff I wanted to blah blah about. So we can go ahead and get to the news. Let's see. From the Associated Press, police: 3 dead, 2 wounded in early morning shooting at Kansas City bar. A security guard was one of the 3 people killed in a shooting at a Kansas City bar early Sunday that also wounded 2 others, including 1 critically wounded. Let's see. The police haven't identified the victims, and they didn't release many details Sunday about what led to the shooting just before the climax, and that's KLY lounge at 1:30 closing time, 1:30 a.m. I'm sorry, and no one answered the phone at the bar Sunday afternoon after it was scheduled to open. They go into a story from Honesty Chancellor. And she told the Kansas City Star that her stepfather, 41-year-old Jason McConnell, was killed in the shooting while working security at the door of the bar. After she rushed to the bar, She said that people in the crowd told her that the shooting happened just as the local rapper who was performing at the club was leaving. Sorry in advance for this, because obviously shootings are sad and, never okay. And maybe this is a poor attempt to add levity, but here we fucking go. The rapper was named Nutty Still Gassin'. And I gotta say, that is that's taking the cake for me. Now I realize, for me, and this is the tangent here, we're talking about rap names. I realized that I was becoming like an old, out of touch, like millennial boomer, whatever the fuck, I don't know what you call me. But like when Young Boy Never Broke Again was a thing, and I was like, that name's too long. Like that name is too long and it doesn't make sense. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm all about the RZA, the Jizza. Give me a David Banna, Chingy, these are names I can understand, I can grasp onto, but they're getting too long. Nutty Still Gassin', that's a crazy ass fucking name. But that being said, this took place after he did his show. Let's see. I don't have any information though on like what caused it, or what was the motivations behind like what caused the shooting, or who was the shooter. Like I don't have that information. I tried to do a little bit of looking, and I just found regurgitations of the same article from the Associated Press. So it's kind of a bummer. But yeah, there was also another shooting that took place over the weekend. Shootout at Baja, California car rally leaves 10 dead and 10 wounded. Authorities say they are investigating an apparent gunfight at an off-road vehicle rally in Mexico's Baja California state that left 10 dead and another 10 wounded. Videos posted on social media showed heavy shooting at the rally in an area of Encina, and at least 3 bodies lying on the ground. The shooting, which took place Saturday afternoon, provoked an intense mobilization of units, Army and Navy and state and local police. So everybody came out. That being said, they just have kind of reported that there was a lot of shooting. Like they're saying that it is a potentially cartel related. Like, okay, like, all right, that's not really like leading anything. It's just saying, oh, well, you just gotta chalk this one up to the cartel. But in both these situations, I'm kind of frustrated, and maybe this is just me as someone who's just trying to do the content. I obviously want the answers. I don't want to give y'all an unsolved thing. At least I want to see inroads to potentially solving something. But who knows? Especially on this one, I don't know. It seemed like the way this article is kind of angled. It's like, okay, we just logged the information. It happened. It was sad, but cartels be crazy, and it's like. That's a terrible answer, for the families, everyone involved here, you would at least like to know the motivations behind it. Maybe not be able to get a specific person, but I don't know. We'll see. If there's any updates, I will definitely be here to talk about it. Let's see. We're moving along pretty briskly, eh? From CNBC, Meta fined a record $1.3 billion over EU user data transfers to the US. Let's see. Let's just start from the top. Meta has been fined a record 1.2 billion euros, or $1.3 billion, by European privacy regulators over the transfer of EU user data to the US. The decision links back to a case brought by Austrian privacy campaigner Max Schrems, who argued that the framework for transferring EU citizen data to America did not protect Europeans from U.S. surveillance. Now, I don't know. I get it. Like, a lot of people, they want their privacy on life. I completely understand that, especially when we're talking about, your information and confidential things you might say or do. But I will say here, and I've said this before on the podcast, I always find it strange when people at large expect a level of privacy when they are engaging with a social media app. I and I understand that people will tell me like, well, they obviously have to abide by these rules, and in this situation they didn't. I think their defense was like, oh well, we are pushing for some rules, and they're potentially looking like they're going to be approved and everything like that. But overall, because I think what is it, Ireland gets involved here. The Irish Data Protection Commission that oversees Meta operations in the EU alleged that the company infringed on the bloc's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, when it continued to send the personal data of European citizens to the U.S. despite the 2020 European court ruling. So, like, Meta was trying to say, like, hey, we're just trying to do our best here. We thought we were going to be getting somewhere, and we thought we were going to be in the clear, but we're not. Yeah, it looks like it's definitely bit them in the ass. Because, I mean, they've paid out before on shit like this. I feel like I covered the Cambridge Analytica thing, but maybe I fucking didn't. That being said, I know me personally, I was able to file for that class action or whatever because, I think it was like 2016 or whatever. You'd have to look it up to, rebuff me or whatever, confirm. But, they were exchanging information that was deemed not constitutional, not okay. So, they're having to pay up for that. And now this is another one on the pile, so that's no good. Let's see. Ireland's Data Protection Commission also told Meta to suspend any future transfer of personal data to the U.S. within the period of 5 months from the decision. Also, too, Meta will appeal, and we'll see how that goes. But that being said, I'm not exactly rooting for Meta in any way, shape, or form here. At the end of the day, what they did was still uncouth. It wasn't right. I think you were definitely trying to skirt the rules. And like I said, you got your fucking ass bit for that. And you deserve that. And also just, Facebook, Meta, whatever, they're not a good company. Like, I talk a lot of shit about Elon Musk and Twitter. I really fucking do. But I really can't stress enough that Twitter itself was bad before Elon Musk. And not to mention that Facebook was bad. Like, Mark Zuckerberg is a weird lizard king, and I don't like him neither. You know what I mean? Actually, in some garbage time while we segue, I didn't cover the story because it was just kind of a fluff thing, but I think he was in like some like MMA thing, and he was like in a tournament because he's been training, like, and his trainer's been hyping his ass up, like, oh man, he's a real monster, man. Y'all don't know, he's got that kind of like quiet storm in him. So anyway, he does his fight, and he initially loses the fight, even though like he actually does like, do pretty well. He still loses. And he literally like whines to the judge, and he gets like reversed, if I'm not mistaken. So that's cringe. That's weird. Just take the fucking L, man. Like, you already have a fucking company, dude. You are rich as fuck. Why are you trying to sweat someone out in a fucking, I don't know, competitive ass tournament, bro? Like, just be happy that you are in good shape. And you could throw a punch and a kick. Most people in your fucking tech sector caliber can't do that. Anyway, we got one more thing to cover before I let you go. All right. Yakking it up over news gossip. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jaman. Okay, I'm lame. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Mea culpa. From the Columbus Dispatch. All right. Let's go. We have an update. We have some news to tell you. From, I already said it. Ohio anglers get harsh penalties for cheating in fishing tournament. Like I said, this is an update. I believe it was the walleye fishing tournament in Cleveland. But I actually got to read the headline here, not the headline, the title, like blah. I'm talking on my ass. The opener here. Let me read it. The journey traveled by walleye tournament fishermen typically wouldn't lead to the Huskow, but a couple of grifting anglers followed the road not taken. I had to look at what a hooskow was because I didn't know what the fuck that was. So that was a very spicy opener. Obviously, my dumbass should not be the one being critical, but sometimes I just don't like it when people get a little bit festive. Just give it to me black and white, just nice and basic. Like I just want the information. Just let me download the words you were saying. Give me the news. Unless this is an editorial, don't get weird. Don't hit me with the flourish of your pen. I don't know. That's just me. Obviously, if you don't agree, let me know. You like spicy little writing when you're reading your little articles or whatever. Let me know, but not me. Jacob Runyan, 43 years old, of Ashtabula, and Chase Cominsky, 36, of Hermitage, Pennsylvania, told Cuyahoga Common Pleas Court Judge Stephen Gaw at their May 11th sentencing that they were sorry they cheated during a September walleye tournament in Cleveland. Now, how they cheated. Essentially, they were weighing down their fish with, like, these, I think, like, lead balls, steel metal balls, whatever. And, the tournament, I believe, was like a $20,000 payout. So they stood to win a lot of money. They won, but then they were immediately found out, and there was literally video coverage of it. They're like, what the fuck, man? And they run up on the fish, and they're in the crate, and they like literally like pull one up, and then just like start squirting the balls out of it, and it's just so awkward. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But apparently these guys were like, they were winning a lot, abnormally so. I think they were winning like 8-9 times or so, and the average like high percentage of winning was like up to 2 times. So these guys were like just unnaturally good, and they were found out. So I believe they were sentenced 10 days in Cuyahoga jail, prison, whatever. And they were also each sentenced a fine of $2,500. And obviously they didn't get a chance to keep their winnings or anything like that. So obviously this is a big L. They are now, convicted felons, which is mad awkward for just some fucking fish crimes. Like, I don't know. That's crazy. I'm not like, I'm saying this is definitely warranted. It's just crazy that these guys were like this was the scheme. This was the grift for them. And, they were just gonna like, just do fish scams. But yeah, this is more or less the conclusion to it. We can go ahead and, I guess, read a little bit more. In March, the two, in a last-minute plea deal, admitted cheating, a fifth-degree felony, and accepted guilt on misdemeanor for unlawful ownership of wild animals. The charges resulted from their attempt to win thousands of dollars in tournament prize money by stuffing fish presented in the weigh-in with lead and fillets. So yeah, they were trying to like stack the scales, man. It's pretty fucked up. You could just I don't know, because I'm not a fisherman. I really can't attest to it. It's not my vibe. And really, it's not because I have any beef or whatever with fishing. It's just I'm not a patient person. And I've asked every fisherman. I'm like, but do you feel that you need a level of patience to have a good time out in the water? And they've normally said yes. You do need to have a level, or at least an understanding that it's not about how many fish you get. And for me, I'm just like, I would just be so bored out there. And I wouldn't care so much about how many fish I got. But if they aren't biting that day, I would just be clawing my eyes out. And I don't just glean any like joy from hooking a fish. I definitely don't want to clean it or anything like that. I also wouldn't want to be a person who like, oh yeah, I hooked a fish and I'm gonna let it go, cause that's based. I don't get it. It's not for me. Fishing, if it's your thing, I don't want to yuck your yum. By all means, get on the bayou and fish up some catfish. Because, man, I love eating some catfish. And you can give it to me. I will eat it up. But I don't want to fish with you. Like, we can do some other activities in the holler. I'm down, but not that. No fishing. But that's all I got for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to help support this podcast. I do have a Patreon if you like to, like I said, become a newsie, get financially active. It also gives you access to bonus content I do every week. I do, like I said, one episode usually. And then also you get a hot link to the Discord that is free though. Just hit me up for that. Also, like I said, you get newsy status, and that's cool. Like that's to me, that's pretty dope. I think it's cool. I like being a newsy, the newsy supreme, the alpha. I don't like calling myself an alpha. Okay, but I will say I will take the supreme. I don't care. I don't fucking care about that. You can call me that. But you too can become a newsy and share in the strength in the community. I also do a shout out, just name shout out once a month and plug whatever project you're doing. You know what I mean? Cool shit like that. Homie shit. Also, feel free to hit me up about news. I love talking about news, especially too if it's a slow news week. Like something. I will say though that is usually a really bad cop out. If you ever hear someone say, "Oh, slow news week," sorry, that just means they didn't really look. You can always find news, but sometimes it is slow, and sometimes I like hearing news that I didn't like hear about or know about. Like sometimes it catches me by surprise, and I'm like, "Hell yeah, tell me more," or send me the link, whatever. Like, and who knows, maybe it'll wind up on the podcast, and I'll be like saying, "Thank you, person, for giving me that news." I don't know, if that's your thing, jam with me, baby. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Free ways to hit me up: Facebook, Twitter. I'm pretty easy to find. Just like look up the podcast or look up my name. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But the Gmail, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. There we go. Awesome. We did it. We did it, Joe. All right. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.